All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Welcome to the Easy Peasy Mealtime Show, where parents and medical professionals share their knowledge and tips regarding children who struggle to eat. Today, we have Lindsey Laurain from Easy Peasy. Hi, Lindsey.
Hi. Hi,
So,
everybody. Oh,
so
I
this
love you
is our
guys.
this is so great. This is our first blab. And so I want to say thank you to Bringing Up Betty. Sarah, thank you so much for mentoring me. And Donald, if you're on, I don't see you right now. He has been so great in helping us get this, show on the road with Blab. And we're just so excited. This is our first one. We're going to interview Lindsey, our founder. And then every single month, we're going to do another Blab. And we're going to be talking about feeding struggles. So kids with medical issues, kids with Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, and just picky eating in general. So we're so excited to have so many of our social media friends here. And we look forward to doing more of these in the future. So yay!
Yay.
This is
And Dawn, can I
great.
talk a little bit about that? About
Yeah.
just and well, I think you're going to go into the questions and how everyone can ask questions, but we are so excited to be using this platform. We welcome all feedback too. If you guys like this, if there's a day of the week, if you know someone that can benefit, let us know.
Yes.
One of the things that makes Easy Peasy very unique is that it's helped so many children and really adults worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something we weren't expecting when we started with Easy Peasy, and we'll back up and get into the story. And so when we eventually hired Dawn, so Dawn, who's interviewing me, is our speech and language pathologist. So she is a credentialed, had a clinic in California, has since shut down her private practice and moved to Colorado to work on Easy Peasy full time. And so we really wanted, and something that's been very important to us is how can we reach more people and offer a free service per se, because speech and feeding therapy is not cheap and there's not a lot of people that can do it and can do it well. And so this is our platform that we're starting to play with. So although today we're talking about the history of Easy Peasy and kind of more entrepreneurship, but we'll get into the feeding side. Going forward, Dawn is going to be educating people from a feeding perspective. So if you have a picky eater or a kiddo with special needs, all of those things will be addressed down the road. And it's a free service. We just want to be able to bring awareness and help parents.
Yes, exactly.
So.
Exactly. So I am so excited. We have so many people here, and thank you so much. So let me tell you a little bit. If you guys aren't familiar to Blab, I see a lot of people who this is their first time. So basically what we do is we will open up a seat in the show and have some people, be live with us to ask Lindsey some questions. Thank you for all the love. If you hit the little hands raised, that means you're giving us some love, that you like what we're saying. You're liking what our topics are. So we're so grateful for that. Thank you so much. And if you want to tell a little bird or post on Facebook, like you just saw Bringing Up Betty did, you can hit the tweet or post to Facebook. And if this is something that you think some friends or family or other people that struggle with picky eating could, really get some good information from this, we'd love for you guys to share that. If you have any questions, please type a / with the letter Q. It's over on the left-hand side. I'll read your questions off to Lindsey, and you basically, she is, as you can see, just wide open to any discussions, and so she is really the most relatable person. So go ahead and ask her any questions.
I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
For those that know me. And so, yeah, Dawn, and you'll start. Are you going to kick it off with the questions?
Yep, I'm going to kick it off with some questions.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, but feel free to, type in some questions too. And it's just so great to see so many of our friends, our social media friends. So we're thrilled. So let's get started. Lindsey, tell us a little bit about the company. Tell us a little bit about your team. We hear all the time in all your interviews that your team is like family. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So for those that don't know me, I'm the founder of Easy Peasy. I'm Lindsey. I'm a mom of 3 wild boys. My husband and I had identical twins that were a huge surprise, as identical twins usually are. And when we actually had the twins, when they were born healthy, but they got RSVP when they were infants, like 12 days old. They got RSV. And for those who are familiar with RSV, I wasn't. I just knew you didn't want to get it because it's a deadly disease if you get it for a kid. So they ended up getting that. We ended up back in the hospital, life flights, intubated. put on a ton of medicines and testing. And so they struggled eating at the very beginning. It wasn't necessarily, they were infants, I mean, weeks old. It was fighting every bottle and crying all the time. And so that was very hard to go through. We survived, thankfully, and it's made the Easy Peasy journey a lot more relatable, because I know as a mom how tough it is dreading every single meal. Right. But the why behind Easy Peasy is the boys were a little bit older. So they were 2 when we came up with the idea, 20 months. And they are now going to turn 4. Wow. So the journey's been very short and very quick for those who don't know as well. And I'll talk a little bit about that. So March of 2014, so it will be 2 years this March. My husband, during dinner one night when all the plates were on the floor, said, someone needs to invent something kids can't toss and throw. And, you know, he said, there's got to be a better way for this, because every meal was a disaster and everything ended up on the floor. And I started looking the next day and I'm like, gosh, this product doesn't exist. You know, there's everything. I have some of the stuff. It was like, this is what was available. The suction cup bowls, if any parents know, everyone,
don't work.
You know, they don't work. And so I came home and I said, I'm doing this. I'm starting my own company and I'm going to create a product. And I'm an extremist. So it works. It's a positive and it's a negative in some ways. And so once I make up my mind, and I've always been like that, there was no turning back. And so I actually ordered the Mom Inventor's Handbook. Hey. It's a great book. If anyone watching this has any interest in starting your own company or bringing a product to market, or it's a great starting point. So I ordered that book. I went and this is the first piece of paper we had. I got a piece of paper in a bowl and I stuck it to it. And that was the first prototype.
Love it.
So that is where it all started. And then I hustled really, really quickly. And again, this was March of last year. And we launched in September. So from like that night at dinner to launching at the ABC Kids Expo and Kickstarter was 6 months after we had the idea. So for those who have an idea, anything is possible as well. And so that was the beginning of it. And then I won't get into all of the history of our team. Okay. But ironically, and I know, Dawn, you saw this because I sent the email out last night. In March of 2014, I also sent an email to my 2 best friends that were both bridesmaids in my wedding, maid of honor. And the email was titled Big Dreams. And it says, you know, hey, Tammy and Christy, you know, I have this big idea, and I have Easy Peasy written, but it's written out Easy Peasy. And I said, I think it's going to be big. Do you think we can all work together? Because if I'm going to create a company, I want it to be with my best friends. And, you know, I go on and say, if it doesn't work out or you think it's going to ruin our friendship, we don't have to work together. And so that was March. And now both of Tammy and Christy are both working on Easy Peasy full time. And so our team is like family in this sense. It is my best friends going back from, you know, 20 plus years. And then my husband and my brother, I'll get to you, Dawn. Yes. Both my husband, you know, does a lot with the business and the kids. And then my brother manages the warehouse. So if you ever get a shipping notification, that's from my brother. Mm-hmm. We've since moved into a warehouse. We started in our garage of Christmas of last year, so a year ago. And now we have a warehouse and an official headquarters. And so those are like relationships that go back years and years. Our photographer and videographer went to college with my husband. And then there's Dawn, who is interviewing me now. Dawn actually reached out to me when we were on Kickstarter. So we did a Kickstarter campaign. Dawn at this time was living in California with a private speech and feeding practice and said, this product's amazing. I want to, you know, touch base. So I sent her an email and said, I'd love to chat. And that was August of 2014. And Dawn and I just met, and like, it was an instant love fest. And so we spent a year of working remotely and going back and forth. And Dawn, you know, would come and spend the night at our house, all of our team meetings. We all stay in the same house and have
we literally lived together. Like it was crazy.
And then Dawn has since moved here and is now full-time on Easy Peasy. And so we've grown so quickly from where we started, and it's been extremely rewarding from, on a million different fronts. So that was kind of a long answer, but
no, but a good one. And we have some questions. So Sarah from Bringing Up Betty says, I'd like to know how you developed the product. Did you already have connections that could help you with helping the idea come to reality? Yeah, Lindsey, tell them how'd you do this? How'd you go from America to shipping and receiving and international and
I would say, I always tell people this. I'm not the smartest person in the room, but I am definitely going to outwork most people. And so I'm a firm believer with hard work and passion. You can do anything you put your mind to. So no, I had no experience in the entrepreneur kind of world or the silicone world. I did spend my career in corporate America. So I worked at Pfizer, the pharmaceutical company, and then Humana, a health insurance company. So I have an MBA. So I have a business background. But once I got the idea, I ordered the Mom Inventor's Handbook. I actually, in that book, they gave a tip. This was our second prototype. It's so bad. This was actually a bunch of little balls you can put in boiling water, and then you can mold plastic. And so I ordered it because the book told me to order it. And then I boiled the water and I got a rolling pin and I made this to show people, which is really embarrassing because I thought my friends were going to steal my idea when they'd see this.
It's so great. And you're getting a lot of love, a lot of hands raised on that because this is the reality.
I know. So this is the reality. So then I had this and I'm like, okay, this works. And then I just Googled local manufacturers in Colorado. I'm in Colorado. Called this guy. Oh, and at this point I knew I wanted to make it out of silicone because silicone, for those who don't know silicone, and I am much well versed in silicone and plastics. Like I was just telling Dawn, I'm trying to use more glass than plastics. And I never was really like that. I didn't pay that much attention to that stuff. So I did enough research from materials and I fell in love with silicone because silicone it's a phenomenal material. It's inert, so it doesn't leach chemicals. It's resistant to heat. No mold or fungus can grow. It's dishwasher safe and microwave safe. And, I always say breast plants are made out of silicone. So if we've been putting them in our bodies for this long, it's safe to have your kids eat out of it. So I knew it was silicone. So then I contacted a local manufacturer that had silicone on their website, called them up and said, hey, can I come down? I want to show you. I have this idea. And at this point, I think it was either I had this or I might have had the plastic version. So I went down that day. I said, I'll be down. He's like, yeah, come on down. And you've met him, Chris, now.
Great.
And now that you've been to the place, it's just funny. So I went and I met with this guy and he was so nice. And he said, I'm going to need CAD drawings to make this 3D and put me in touch with one of his friends. I'll skip all of the stories. So I ended up ordering, I found this silicone piece. This was the first official sample I ordered. So you can kind of see it's, silicone material. And then this was actually the first prototype that was made out of silicone and that suctioned. And so, and a gentleman made this in his garage for me. And so I'll show you, for those that can kind of see, this is it's a plate, it's a tile.
Yep.
So you can see that was
reality.
It's sliding off, but that was the first prototype that was a silicone with the mat and bowl that suctioned. And so we were very excited when we got that. And a guy made that in his garage for me. And then I started to go overseas. I looked to get it manufactured in the United States, obviously. And it wasn't feasible. Even, it's a $24.99 price point. So silicone is extremely expensive.
Yes.
And to be able to do what we do, for those who know the actual Happy Mat, I haven't even showed the product. It's 1.5 pounds of silicone. And so just the amount of silicone on this is an extremely expensive material. So we went overseas. We found a manufacturer in China that has become like family. I've been over to China. They've been over to the United States. And they made us this. And now they're making us all of our other products. And they really are like family. So
beautiful. And Lindsey, we are getting so many comments about that they love your mats and that it's amazing. And
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we're getting so many comments. But one of the questions here is asked by I Love Monkey, is how much capital did you need to start off with? Like, tell them a little bit
Yes,
about
great question.
funds.
So, you do need money. That's one thing, and you don't need a lot of money to start. But it's funny when the timing of it was in March of 2014. And so that was right. We had just got our tax returns. And we had some cash coming in. Brad had a bonus from medical distributorship. So to start an LLC, to just the beginning, it's a few $100 here and there. So we self-funded, and we still are self-funded. So we have not taken any outside investor money, which is a big deal for us.
Yes, huge.
And so we started really small and slow. So it was feasible with my money. I was working, so I had a full-time job. I didn't quit my job until things were going really well, and I knew it was a feasible option. So I was bringing in my paychecks. We were using our tax return money, starting slow, and then we did Kickstarter. And so Kickstarter is an amazing platform in terms of building a community and kind of crowdfunding. And so if you're familiar with Kickstarter, if you are a Kickstarter, legitimately the Kickstarter's community helped us fund our first production run. So we raised $72,000 on Kickstarter. We took all of that money and ordered our first run of, I think it was 5,000 or 6,000 mats. And then once we started making revenue, we've been funneling that back in, and it's you could Google it. It's called bootstrapping, when you're starting your own company and you are bootstrapping your way. And Dawn could talk to this because Dawn is a speech and feeding therapist that was making way more money than she is now. And so it's been a commitment as well from people, believing in the product, and Dawn taking a pay cut because we're all very passionate. And my best friends have been working and not making money. And so it's just been total startup.
Right. It's belief. It's a belief in everything.
And now that we're profitable, it's all cycling money in though. So any money we make, we have to buy inventory and I have to pay Dawn. But we've been able to do it. And I think we're far along that we can do it. And obviously if you saw Shark Tank, that was one way we were going to get money. So anyhow, we're self-funded. You do need money, but you can start off small without a ton of capital. And just kind of go slow. And then the big inventory is where for us in tooling to make the actual metal tools.
So we are getting some comments that they love your mat and bowl for their 20-month-old. And there's other people that just need to try these. And, people are asking if you will have anyone at MommyCon. So you want to talk a little bit about MommyCon?
I love MommyCon. One thing I was in the medical community for my entire career. And I think entrepreneurship, I've learned a few things. One of them is I was very narrow-minded when I worked in corporate America. It's the only thing I thought existed was pharmaceuticals and my career. So then now being at ezpz, the baby industry is just a phenomenal community of entrepreneurs or MommyCon or Bump Club, all of these women and some men that are supporting each other. It's just absolutely phenomenal. So MommyCon is one of our huge partners, and we're a sponsor this year. I am only going to be attending the MommyCon in Chicago in person. So I will be at MommyCon in Chicago and possibly in Newport. Dawn, we haven't finalized it yet, but Dawn may be attending and speaking at some MommyCons as well on feeding challenges. And then every MommyCon, though, I don't know if I'm allowed to say what we're giving away. We are sponsoring. We're involved in every MommyCon. So if you go to a MommyCon and you're part of the VIP, we're working with them we're in the feeding court and the play area this year. So we've increased our partnership with them. But I'll be in Chicago in March.
So if you're going to MommyCon, find her.
And you can buy mats.
We have a couple more.
They sell our mats actually for us.
Oh, perfect. So we have, Rachel Smith. Hi.
And Dawn too. I don't know if you want, I don't know if there's people on here that, if you want me to show the products and walk through what our products are.
Yeah, I think we can do that too. Let's go
Okay,
through a couple more
perfect.
of these because there's so many now.
Okay.
It's going too fast. So, Rachel says that she's been eyeballing them at their local boutique in Tennessee. That's so great.
Oh, we love our boutiques.
Um, Other people are just like, rock on, good job. Bringing it, Betty. Sarah saying that she loves Kickstarter. And what tips do you have for someone who might want to run a Kickstarter campaign?
I would
Give a few
say, I
tips.
think Kickstarter has a false perception that it's a lot easier than it is. Um, and even, we did a Kickstarter campaign and we had a ton of traction. And it's still, so I don't want to go in with a negative thing. I'm trying to set realistic expectations. That
Yes.
nothing in this world is as simple as I'm going to post something and it is going to go viral. Like I hear that all the time. Like I'll just post it, it'll go viral. And that doesn't work like that. And so I think with Kickstarter, there's a lot of work in terms of beforehand, finding out who your community is and who is going to support you and why are these people going to want to share it, and being comfortable asking for things. I personally hate asking for stuff. I'm not a good salesperson. And so it gets annoying, and we've done it a lot with voting. And so you have to ask people and share. And so it was the biggest blessing for us because it went really well and we had a really strong community, but it was a lot of hard work and a lot of asking. And I think that stuff's like the stuff that doesn't get seen. So I guess my advice is just, it's not as easy, I think, as it looks. Do it professional and be ready to like bootstrap and ask and hustle and hustle and hustle. But it's a great way to start a journey with a community base too.
And when you say, do it professional, you mean like hire a great videographer or a photographer to really make that just pop, right?
I mean, with anything, I would say, and Dawn, I think you've seen some of my initial presentations, PowerPoints, that one of my strengths is I'm not a self-doubter. So I've always just had this, like, I'm going to roll with it if I'm doing it. And my presentations were so bad at the beginning, and hiring a graphic designer and photographers, it's life-changing and it's worth the investment.
Yes.
So, I mean,
we're lucky to have a great one. So, another question. How did you balance? I know, it's so great seeing everyone on here. How did you balance your full-time job, a side business, raising kids? Were you overwhelmed?
Yes,
is the question.
I am overwhelmed a lot. So the beginning, it was really hard. I'll be honest. I was, I did a lot of work when the kids went to bed. On the weekends, my husband's very supportive. I've stayed at a hotel away from my family way too many nights than I'd like to admit. So I can go work for 24 to 36 hours with no interruptions. And so I think it's a sacrifice that my husband's made as well, that he picks up a lot of the slack. And so doing both jobs, it was intense, but it was the right thing to do because we needed the money and I couldn't financially do it any other way. And it's still a challenge. I think work-life balance, or whatever you want to call it, it's whatever you're doing is a challenge. And so I try to set some boundaries. I'm not very good at, turning it off. And Dawn, we could talk about this, family mealtime. We've really tried to get back and emphasize at our household, which we didn't do before I met Dawn. Dawn's been a huge influence in our life of, so putting down the electronics and doing all of that. But I think it's still a struggle. I mean, I have mom guilt all the time. And even husband guilt, right? My husband, it's a constant thing. And so I think though, for the long run, it's easy when you're making a difference and you're doing all of this good. And our kids can now see that. They're 4 and 6. So they know what easy peasy is, and they can hear the stories. So it's gotten easier as they've gotten older because they understand it.
And they even, because I'm at her household a lot, they even, the oldest one is even like, oh, are you guys making a video to help kids? And we're like, yes. I mean, they get it. So,
and
they
I'm
really
happier.
get it.
I think I stayed home for 10 months. Yeah. And so I've, it's been interesting. I worked in corporate America. I was a stay-at-home mom. So I stayed home for almost a year, and then I do easy peasy. And I wasn't happy staying at home. It was not the right fit. But I was with my kids more, but I wasn't the mom I want to be. And so now it's all trade-offs. I'm a better mom. So it's finding the balance. And I think it's never going to be perfect. but I get to walk my kids to the bus every day, and I didn't get to do that.
Yes.
And when I worked at Humana. So it's a trade-off that I'm constantly trying to juggle.
Good. So bringing up Betty, Sarah's asking that she's also wondering, has there been a certain time when you got a break that gave you confidence that this would really succeed? Like what was that one break that you got that you're just like, yes, this is really going to be successful?
Yeah. I mean, I think again, it's this weird, and I don't know if self-doubt's the right word, but when I had this prototype and I was showing my friends, I felt no less passionate about it when I had the video and people are sending us messages. Like I've always just believed that it's going to be awesome. And I'm like that in my life when I make up my mind. But I think once we got the official prototypes, because I think I have them, I think I have the first, I'll show it to you because it's funny. So, well, this will give an example. So this was like our prototype that was at least better than the other ones, but you can see it is not good. And we like rolled and did a photo shoot with these. So, and I'm embarrassed that I did that. I mean, I don't know how our photographer wasn't like, get out of my studio. And then once we got the actual mat, I was like, wow, this is legit. Yeah. And then we did Kickstarter and the baby guy, you know, seeing it. And then when we started kind of going on the skyrocket is when I'm like, okay, there's no question in my mind, but there's still, I mean, it's a lot of work and there's so many challenges that, I mean, and Dawn, you see it even this morning, there are unethical people. We're dealing with counterfeits and really negative stuff a lot. So that's been challenging, like where you just kind of want to throw up your hands and walk away. And so, but we won't do that. We just always.
So your spark was just at the very beginning, you just knew that the idea was there and you just kind of got behind it. Yeah. No, I'm just land the plane, Lindsay. We also have comments here that saying that we need a grandma con. And you know what? We do need a grandma con. You know, we should talk to Mommy Con about that because I mean, Lindsay can tell more about this, but we have so many grandparents who buy our products and give them away as gifts or baby shower gifts or, you know, or just so that they can have our plates at their house because it's just more fun to eat out of a Happy Mat at grandma's house. So you're absolutely right, Robin. We do need a grandma con because there's a lot of amazing grandparents that actually take my courses about picky eating and how to help them. And, you know, hats off to them because, you know, we're in a generation where grandparents are co-parenting and it's amazing, right? Lindsay, you want to touch base?
Oh my God, I just saw the comment from Robin's World. That's amazing. Like, do you still feel like you're 10 years old, Robin? Because I do.
That's great. Yeah.
Robin's 45 and she's going to be a grandma. And so isn't it funny when you get older? I always think this. I remember when my parents turned 40 and now I'm about to be 40. It's crazy. Congratulations. And you'll absolutely need them. Oh, and and they're twins. Are you going to be a grandma and twins? But so much for my twin grad. Oh my gosh. That's identical or fraternal. Oh, I couldn't have done it with my mom. I have the best mom. Oh my gosh. Congratulations.
Yes. Congratulations. You're going to be a beautiful hot grandma.
Very, very excited. I mean, so yes, you'll absolutely need them because one of the features that I love is you can stack. This is actually my favorite feature. I can stack and serve everyone at the same time. So I can serve my kids together. I could serve 5 bowls of cereal or 5 kids. And then the outer rim catches most of the spillage. So my table's not messy when everyone's done. I pick it all up in one swoop. I rinse them off or I throw them in the dishwasher. So for twins and multiples, that's what I personally love is probably my favorite feature. Just serving everyone together.
You need it. And we have some comments here saying that, yes, that's how they found you was through the baby guy. That, you know, awesome. that was the best thing. And so everyone's just giving the baby guy some love. So love for the baby guy.
Yes.
And then we have twins are so much fun. We have a set of fraternal twin girls and there's never a dull moment. Oh my goodness.
How old are they?
Yes.
Twins how old are they? Twins are fun now.
Jengerlock. How old are your kids?
Oh, I knew that. I always say that. Yes, I always forget she has twins.
Yes. Got a lot of multiple moms
yes.
here and grandmas.
It's gotten better now that they're 4. I had a rough go. Can you show the bowl mat? Yes. I had they had all the feeding issues when they were kids, and I got postpartum anxiety, and I look back at those days, and it was not fun the first 8 to 9 months. Now they're 4 and they get along and they're much better. So this is the bowl. It's a smaller footprint than the mat. And we also, I'll show you guys our mini mat. So here's the bowl. Here's the mat. We use both of these interchangeably. I personally, we use the Happy Mats way more than we do the bowls. I usually use the bowls more for like snacks. If they get anything, they're getting a snack in the bowl. Just my husband used one last night at dinner. Did you see that picture, Dawn?
Yes, I did. It was great. We all do.
I know.
My husband always says, "Can we please not eat out of a Happy Mat tonight?" And I'm like, "Oh, sorry. It's just so convenient." It's
for those that you guys know.
We do it.
Brad, we sent it. Our photographer was here last night, and he was taking pictures at dinner. And he got Brad, and Brad has 2 huge zits in the picture. So I sent it to our graphic designer, and I said, "Can you like make Brad's zits go away in this?"
Real
life. His ugly sweatshirt.
Easy.
Don't believe anything you ever see. Photoshop. We don't Photoshop like our mats, but it is amazing what you can Photoshop. I mean, anything to false marketing. It's a bad world.
Absolutely. So we have people saying that they're using the bowl right now and that they love the bowl. And let's see, can you make these for pets too? My dog is such a messy eater. Well, Lindsey, you want to discuss that and talk about that a little bit?
Yes, we are going to be eventually coming out with a pet line. We're getting close. And so we have to decide more of a distribution and a marketing strategy behind it. But we will eventually have a pet line. I actually have I'm going to like give a really quick look of this. This is really old, but I'm going to make it go across. It's like ripping a pet prototype. You want to see that?
Everyone loves it.
So we are going to be doing pets. We have our mini mat, which we've posted. We launched these. We sold out instantly the day we launched them. And then we actually went back and redesigned the bag a little bit differently so they can now stack. That's been the reason for the extra delay. So these are about to be en route and come over. The bags were a reusable bag, so you can travel with it. And the mini mat I'll show you is great for, this is a Highchair Tray. And again, as long as no air gets underneath them, kids cannot get them off. And these are size, so it's 2 ounces, 2 ounces, 4 ounces. So for moms, if you're doing a puree or baby-led weaning and you want to have any idea, we want it to be easy for moms and dads or grandmas to be able to know how much you guys are giving your kiddos. So that we will have within the next week and a half. Like I said, they're about to get en route. And then we have a cup coming out. I saw a question about that. We are shooting for March or April. Dawn, that's on my list for Monday. And the cup is going to be very, very cool. One of the things unique to ezpz also is, we hire Dawn. We have a feeding and speech therapist full time, and we are different. And so behind every product is much more thought out than the typical plate you would buy in a store. For instance, the measurements and having Dawn be involved to know what are the right measurements and the sizing and the scoop. And so as a mom, when I had Chase and Drew and Brody, I fell into like a lot of the misperceptions. So like sippy cups. I tried to transition our kids off of a bottle into a sippy cup because that's what I was told what I was supposed to do. And Dawn, meeting Dawn, has educated me a lot in the best way possible, because Dawn's the nicest person alive, is, do you know sippy cups, you're really not supposed to be using those every day, and kids are supposed to use hand-eye coordination. And so the backstory to that is we want to bring more awareness. And I've done all of these things as a mom myself, but now at least I have someone that's teaching me that there's other things you should be doing. Same thing with like pouches for the fruit pouches. I didn't realize that you shouldn't be doing those at every single meal. And so with the cup, it's designed by Dawn. All of our products going forward, whether it's a cup or a utensil, they're marketed towards mainstream. So you can go into Nordstrom and buy them. But everything can float into the therapy world. So feeding therapists, occupational therapists can use all of our products. The special needs community. And then these kiddos with any sort of disability or poor motor function, they don't have to be different than any of the other kids. So it's a product, and there's not that many companies that do that you can, have products that can cross into both worlds. And that's been very important for us. And so our cup will be designed by Dawn. It's very well thought out of. And then same thing with our utensil that we're planning on launching at the end of this year as well. And then the book. And then I'm going to give a sneak peek. This book is coming out as well soon. I mean, we're getting really, really close. And so there's Dawn and I. And then it is amazing. So it's based on the Happy Mat. I'll just give the sneak peek of, you guys can see. It comes with a grocery list, and Dawn's written, beautiful content. And then it's just fun ways to fill the Happy Mat. And so it's for moms like that aren't Pinteresty moms, because I'm definitely not one. And you can make food art for your kids in a really short amount of time, and it has great content. So that's coming out as well.
In minutes. Yes, make food art in minutes. We have a couple comments that they missed the pet prototype. So can you do the whole quick pet prototype again?
This is one. The other one's more obvious, but these are just like ones we played with. There's ones for cats as well. I don't know where that prototype is.
And just so you know, too, I use the bowls for my dog right now. My dog's 40 pounds. So I have a lot of people asking about weight of dogs, but she's 40 pounds and she's actually a therapy dog. And so I go places with her and use the Happy Bowl to kind of suction. And so if you guys have a Happy Bowl, try it.
Yes. We have two. We have two down we have a Yorkie though. So he's very small.
Yeah. And then we have questions, can't wait for them to be available in Canada. So we are in Canada. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
So everything is available in Canada besides the mini mats. So if you go to our website, you could click over to a Canadian retailer and you can order in Canada for $5 flat shipping. Hip Mommies is our Canadian distributor is phenomenal. I mean, we're in, I think, over almost 20 countries. So we are in a lot of countries. For those who watch Shark Tank, Australia just ordered their first container.
Yay!
So we'll be shipping that out.
Excellent. Yes. Go to Hip Mommies. We love them. We have another question. We have so many coming in. I want to try to keep going. Britt heard about the bags on Instagram. Can you tell a little bit about the bags for the mini mats for people who might have ordered them before when we were just launching them out, and talk a little bit about that?
If you did not get a bag, if you have the mini mat and did not get one, you can go to our Facebook page or our Instagram page. Instagram, we have to change the link because you know how you can't link in Instagram. It's annoying. There's a Google form, and all we need is your name and address. And then as soon as we get our next shipment, we ordered a bunch of extra bags just to send people to anyone that didn't get one. And then going forward, we've decided anywhere you buy a mat, they will all come with this. So there won't be any, so I got it, I didn't get it. So just go, you can send us an email at info@ezpzfun.com as well. And we're checking our emails all day, every day. So we will make sure you get a reusable bag if you would like one. And then Dawn, I saw a question too that you might answer about the cup. How can you show the cup? No, we can't show the cup. But Dawn, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So one of the things that we wanted to really promote, not only as a company, but in my profession, is decreasing the chance of aspiration for kids. So basically what that is, for any of you moms who, have watched your kids drink something or eat something and it kind of goes down the wrong way and they cough and gag and sputter, or they actually choke, what happens is that liquid or that food went down into their lungs or towards their lungs, and they were able to either cough that out, or if they're really weak, weak. Like if they have, some kind of special needs, they're too weak to cough that out. What happens is that you have to, in order to drink out of the bottom part of this cup, let's say, I have to tilt my head back, which opens up my airway in order for the liquids to go down. And so we designed a cup that you won't have to do that, so that kids can drink safely. What?
So that's all you can say.
Yes, that kids can drink safely. So
it's awesome.
It's awesome. Yes, we'll have more blabs about drinking specifically, and the differences between a straw and an open cup and a sippy, and we'll be doing some of those blabs too. So stay tuned.
Yes.
We have another question regarding that, or a comment that these would be great in daycare centers, and they will. We have been working diligently to try to get into the daycare space, but we're just trying to balance everything. But actually, Lindsey and I have a meeting on Monday about
I was
going
just going to say that
daycares.
I have a list.
Yes. She always has a list. And also like sponsoring some schools, for the blind, and some other types of spaces like daycares as well as preschools. So we will keep you guys posted on that.
Daycares. And if you know anyone, Dawn's a great person to refer anyone. And then we actually too, we're updating a section on our website that's called Changing Lives. And it's great. We're sharing some of the stories that we've received from a kiddo with, who's blind, or a kiddo with cerebral palsy that can now eat independently for the first time. I mean, you'll cry just reading the testimonials from the parents of these kids that now have independence, and for a parent too, to get their independence back. Right. The gratitude, it's undescribable. It's awesome.
Makes all the stress worth it, for sure.
Yes.
So we have thank you, Easy Peasy Fun. I found your mat at the AB Kids Expo. ABC Kids Expo is amazing. We love it there. On Instagram, when you first started, I started to buy from my local retailer, about getting it in stock. Now they just fly off the shelves. So awesome to see your brand grow. Thank you so much.
Well, and thank you. One of our things too, we pride ourselves on is our community is, and I know there's a lot of people on these, but the social world is strange in the sense that I legitimately feel, yes, I was on Shark Tank, and I'm normal, I promise. But we pride ourselves on our community. And so we don't do paid advertising and product placements and pay for that. All of ours is organic, from like whoever said going into a boutique and saying, you should get this product. That is how we've grown. We've done no outreach to our boutiques. And so it's just been this organic community of, and then going to a MommyCon event and seeing all these people that I know from Facebook, or I feel like I know. And so that's probably, outside of the special needs community and the making the difference, our community, at least for me, is by far the best part. I mean, I am on Facebook. I'm reading those posts. I was commenting to the people on Shark Tank that had something to say about my eyes or whatever it was, so it's so fun to be able to connect. So my point was just thank you for going into your boutiques or passing on someone's info. It all means the world to us too.
Yes. And we have some comments here that we went from bottle to straw cup, and our feeding specialist is anti-sippy cup too. Yay. We bought every straw cup till we found the right one, but it still leaks. And that is the problem with straws, is because, after you wash them a few times, they do tend to leak. And we'll talk about that in another blab too.
And let me just, Dawn, and someone said paying for product placement is an anti-community. I totally agree. I think what I meant by that is, before I got into Easy Peasy, I didn't realize how much of what you see in a magazine or anywhere is paid for. Mm-hmm. So I'll give you an example. If you're reading a magazine and you see 10 celebrity gift items that from these celebrities, that's paid, right? I could put up an email right now that says, do you want to be included in the celebrity thing in Us Weekly? And I could pay for that. And I didn't know that as a consumer. I'm reading a magazine and I'm thinking, oh, there's 10 celebrity must-haves. And so that we don't do that. So we're not necessarily paying to be in, the Us Weekly or that kind of stuff. We do pay to MommyCon, right? That's a sponsorship. That's a partnership. So I just meant more, a lot of our growth has been organic. If it's on TV, you're far more likely to know if it is paid blogger than talking about if it's on TV. And even with our bloggers, we have an affiliate program. So, and Dawn's going to be running a medical affiliate program. And so if you're listening to this and have any sort of community, I mean, we've wanted to take more of the grassroots approach of we're going to reward people that are already talking about it, and incentivizing those people instead of necessarily like pay for placements. So.
Right. And we have some comments about blogging and what we do with bloggers. And I just want to comment on that too. You know, we have a great blog up. Lindsey writes some blogs. I write some blogs. And we have bloggers, mostly speech pathologists and moms who, you know, talk about the products, talk about how it's helping their child with special needs, helping their clients. There was just a recent blog that we posted about a speech pathologist in Atlanta and what she's doing with her daughter, who's a picky eater, as well as with some of her clients. And so, yes, we've got a lot of wonderful feedback from bloggers, and we're so grateful for them. So let's move on and see if somebody wants to actually come into a seat. Sarah, do you want to ask a question and come on? Since we only have a few more minutes, I want to get at least a couple people on. If Sarah, you want to, or Wendy, if you want to. Thank you guys so much for.
I get really fed up with like the false marketing.
Yes.
There's so much. That's what I'm saying. Like, don't believe anything you see with whether it's photoshopped or
absolutely
paid for.
So let's
and a lot of awards are paid for as well.
Yes.
A lot of awards. Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about, since we have, you know, so many people asking us questions about the special needs space. So tell me a little bit about some of the comments that you're getting across the globe of parents who have kids with special needs and
yeah, I'll just give you a few, like. You know, that is, like I described before, being able to make a difference in someone's life is I have the chills right now. And I have the chills whenever I talk about it. It's a gratitude that I never thought I would have in my life. And so, and I'm not going to start, I'm like almost going to start crying because it's moved us so much, and it's moved my kids understanding how to make a difference in the world. And Dawn, you know, we went to the nursing home this year and sang to a bunch of seniors. It's opened up myself as well and giving back and making a difference and wanting to pass that on to my kids. And I wasn't necessarily like that as much before ezpz. And so, you know, some of the ones today I was getting ready for the Changing Life section on our website is a mom who has a 4 to 5 year old kiddo with autism that's nonverbal, and they've never been able to speak at all. And for the first time, they got a happy mat, and now the blue happy mat is the little boy's mat. And he was able to take over the mat to his mom and communicate to his mom that he was hungry for the first time. And so like that kind of message, another message of, you know, working with a blind kiddo that they've never been able to eat independently by themselves.
Right.
And then the kiddos with cerebral palsy. I mean, it's just been, it makes it all worth it, because the journey isn't easy. And I think everyone thinks, oh, it's easy and it's always fun. And it is, because our our team is like family, but it's stressful and there's a lot of not fun stuff that goes on. And so that makes it all worth it. I think we joined the Changing the Face of Beauty campaign, which is utilizing kids or encouraging retailers to use kids with disabilities in your advertising. And so
as models,
yes. And so we're a proud participant of that. So next month, actually, we have a commercial coming out, and there's a little boy with Down syndrome in the commercial. And so we can't wait to have that be released. But it's been extremely moving on a million different levels.
And then let's talk about how people can say ignorant and hurtful things when a kid struggles to eat. And especially, you know, in our videos where the kids are throwing plates and having these feeding behaviors. And let's just talk a little bit about that, because I know, you know, some of our community here, they have kids who have feeding behaviors. And, you know, tell us a little bit about, you know, hurtful comments that people say, and, you know, how that makes you feel as a mom, and, you know, to relate to some of these other moms who have kids with other.
You know, and I'll relate a little bit to the Shark Tank experience in the sense that I wasn't bullied growing up. So I'm not a bullier. I'm like a very nice person. Genuinely, I've just always been nice and positive, and I wasn't bullied. So we went on Shark Tank, and in all honesty, we went on Shark Tank to do a business deal, and I did not even mentally think of the aftermath. And it was so naive of me, but it's so me, Dawn, you know me, like, oh, I wonder what people will think, or how am I going to look? I didn't think of that, right? And so, or how emotionally people would be connected. And so we went on the show, it aired, and then there was a lot of positive feedback. Our community is phenomenal.
Amazing.
And it's definitely worth it. But there are very mean people on attacking me on a different, so many fronts, and the most hurtful things you could ever imagine being told. Mm-hmm. I've had handwritten letters of my dress was too short or whatever. And it was very hurtful. It was a very weird weekend after we aired. It was I cried, and I was happy because our community was so big. And so I think the learning of it, and I always try to do this with the postpartum anxiety, I did the same thing, is like, okay, one, these people are mean people. I got on a few Twitter profiles, and everything they say is mean. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of took the stance of, one, I feel bad for these people. Like, who wants to live their life being mean?
Right.
And two, so it was that, and it was me knowing enough and believing I really shouldn't care what that person's saying. He's a mean person. And two, that this is a serious issue on a million different fronts. Mm-hmm. And it sucks being bullied. And so, now I can relate on so many different levels of what people go through. And it's like a passion of mine now. And so I think at the end, being comfortable and confident in what you're doing, and knowing deep down inside, it really doesn't matter what these mean people say or they're not saying, and to just do the best that you can possibly do, mm-hmm. whether it's you're a mom or a grandma, and, continue on and not let them distract you or get yourself down. Right. That was my thing is, you get these negative things and it's like, you want to quit, and I'm like, then they're winning. Right. Right. So it's no different, I think, with any kind of bullying is, staying true to your mission. And we know the truth of, I'm not a crazy hoe on meth.
Well, you're getting a lot of love and support here from our viewers. And let's get back to like the hurtful things that people said about the kids' feeding behaviors. So, just to relate to, some of the parents out there that, being a feeding therapist, I've seen kids throwing plates, screaming, kicking, biting, choking on purpose, vomiting on purpose, doing, even, self-mutilation while they're eating to get out of the feeding experience. And in particular, the kids were throwers. So talk a little bit about, about that feeding experience and your reactions.
And the emotional, I think, tool, I've gotten a lot of messages of, you're a terrible mom. You shouldn't let your kids behave like that. You need to control your kids, and this product's stupid. Kids shouldn't throw their plates. Again, mm-hmm. very hurtful. And it makes you question yourself, right? Am I a bad mom? Is that my fault? And so mm-hmm. I think at the end of the day too, very similar is, I am doing the best I can as a mom. I was doing the best I could before ezpz. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to create a healthy environment for my kids, and they're raised in a healthy environment. So it's, I think, trying to find ways, coaching ways, tips, whether it's the Happy Mat or Dawn giving tips, which we'll get into the next chats will be more food basis. And Dawn's been very instrumental of just verbalizing things differently, the way using Happy Mat, go get your Happy Mat versus, Johnny, go get your plate, come down here. Yes. Like those sound very different. And to a kid, getting your Happy Mat is making mealtime happy. So I think, learning a little bit of things, and then at the end, not listening to what people saying. I'm not a bad mom. Right. A lot of kids are wild, and kind of moving on.
Yes. And there's parents here that, have wrote to us that are viewing right now, that have wrote to us about their child's feeding behaviors and feeding struggles. And if you just came on, Lindsey at the beginning talked about, the twins' feeding struggles. And there's lots of research out there that says, if your child struggles to eat at the very beginning, typically they're going to have some kind of feeding behaviors. And, luckily Lindsey turned, these behaviors into an amazing product line and a wonderful way that we can all just have this incredible community to be able to talk about real struggles with eating and real struggles with feeding our kids, and being able to, have that education and have the support system to, combat feeding struggles in this really positive way. So, Lindsey took something that was bad and twisted it to make a, wonderful product line. And the comments are, saying that too. So it's
and I think, when you go back to the infant, so that was giving a bottle, and it was no different in the sense. I mean, I dreaded every meal, like, oh my God. And it was every 3 hours when they were young, you had to it was so bad. And then with Easy Peasy, everyone should use Easy Peasy. I'll tell you a funny story. Last night, I was being so lazy that I was like, I'm using paper plates. We're not even using Easy Peasy tonight. We use, and our boys are 4 and 6. And I tell you, Joyner was over and he's like, I'm like, why would I ever not use Easy Peasy? It's like everywhere. And it was so, I think to go back now it's the products just make you not dread mealtime as much, right? Yes. Mealtime should be a positive experience. Like when I was a kid, I remember sitting, and this was when I was an older kid, family meal times. It's like some of my only and my best memories as a kid growing up. And so that's, if anything, Easy Peasy, the mats are going to allow a mom to sit longer because she's not getting up 10 times because the bowl's not on the floor.
Yes.
A kid that is neurotypical or not, they can eat independently. And we're encouraging independent behaviors.
Yes.
So, and again, the baby-led weaning wasn't big when they were younger, but that's a whole nother thing that just creates independence around mealtime that, I think is a phenomenal tool as well.
Yes. Fantastic. Well, we're getting lots of comments about you being a great mom and learning the process. And, the beautiful thing just, and then I'm totally going to click you on, Sarah. The beautiful thing about working with Lindsey and working in the Easy Peasy environment is that we are really passionate about education and about feeding. And I just, respect Lindsey so much for always just being so honest and relatable. I mean, even in this blab, right? Very relatable and telling, true stories that happened to her and, how she as a mom is, learning these and going through these experiences and making it better. And it's just so fantastic. And I'm going to let bringing up Betty, Sarah, come on right now and ask a question. So
how fun is this? I love
that. Hey, good to see you guys. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. And sorry, I have like a really bad cold, so
you are fine.
Anyway, thank you for making such an excellent product. When I originally saw the baby guy show it, and then I was like, this is amazing, and I shared it with everyone I knew, and I funded the Kickstarter, and we got one from I think it was before my daughter was even eating. So I have a 5-year-old, and almost 3-year-old. And my 3-year-old has a rare genetic disorder and has a lot of delays. And so when we finally got her eating solids, we were like, okay, now we need to get her to the table. But plates were like out of the question because she only eats herself with her hands so far. So we've just loved having the Easy Peasy Happy Mat, and we have the mat and we have a bowl. And then the other day, my older daughter was like, "Mom, why don't I get a happy mat?"
Oh, I love it! It's like the best.
Oh, I need to get you one. Sorry, but I was going to ask you back to Shark Tank, and I hope this is okay to talk about.
Yeah.
Just if there was any, I know that it's like such an edited little segment, if there was anything that you had wished that they had shown that they didn't.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think one, about how we're making a difference in the world. I think, it's funny, even looking back at it, I'm like, they couldn't even throw me one bone.
Yeah.
Like in the post interview, you see me and you can't really tell. I'm like crying in that. You can kind of see my eyes are red, and I'm like, no, I wouldn't have changed anything. Before I said that, it was like, they didn't see we're making a difference in the world and we're doing all of this stuff. And so I think that was the biggest struggle is like, oh my God, we're doing so much good and giving back. And I'm not driven by money. And a lot of people are, and it's absolutely fine to be driven by money. So to go on and then be called greedy, and I mean, all of these things that are so far from who we are, that I think was the biggest, the biggest eye opener. I think too, I equate it to like being beat up with your hands tied behind your back, because I still can't tell everyone what happened. So right. To have all of these opinions brought on you on an edited show that no one has any context of besides what they saw on TV, and to be told I should have done a deal with X or Y or Z or why didn't I? I'm like, you have no idea what the conversation was like, and you're telling me I should be doing business, and then it's hard to not get defensive because people are attacking you. So that is the stuff that I did not anticipate, and so and that's all died down and it's all fine. So I would say that was the biggest disappointment, is we're making a difference in the world and all of the good we're doing.
Right.
To be shown as kind of like greedy people, me being greedy was not the best way to come across.
Yeah.
Or my short dress. I like emailed the producer. I'm like, could you have told me my dress was too short?
Oh gosh. I thought you looked great.
Yes, I thought she looked great too.
So that was probably it, but it was a good experience. It was a great learning experience. So, I mean, if I guess I would do it all over again if we had to, for sure.
Yeah.
It just wasn't nothing. It wasn't what I thought it would be at all.
Yeah.
So, and for those of you who are watching and are not familiar with Bringing Up Betty and Sarah, who's on here, she has an amazing podcast. And so, take a peek at that if you are, doing multitasking. I'm always listening to her podcast and doing work, and it's just a wonderful podcast. And we're extremely grateful to her because I was on her Blab show and I just loved this format. And as a speech pathologist, I love to talk. And so this is a perfect format for us to be able to talk to families and share tips. And so we're so grateful for you and sharing.
Dawn, I know from the timing standpoint, are we going to give away Happy Mat?
Yes, I was just going to say that we have a lot of people that are having to leave, and we're trying really hard to stick to our hour. So yes, we are going to give away a Happy Mat. And so, wow, we have a lot of comments that are super excited about this, and an SLP's here. Yay! Oh my goodness. Great. Okay. So, how do we want to do a giveaway, you guys? Do you want to write a message here about what you love about the Happy Mat, and then we're going to just randomly pick one?
Totally up to you. I'm fine.
Let's do that. On the right-hand side.
Wait, my problem is I like to give away everything.
Right on the right-hand side, one of the reasons why you love the Happy Mat, and then we're going to just randomly pick one. So go ahead and do that. And sorry if we're running just a little bit behind, but we're so excited to just have such a wonderful community here. We're going to be doing another Blab next month. We're going to be talking about feeding and talking about either children with Down syndrome or children with other syndromes. So we're going to be scheduling that next month, and we'll be having one every single month after that.
So excited.
Yes. Fantastic.
Keep commenting. Dawn's going to pick one randomly here in a second.
My mouse is just going to go over it and just pick one. So,
yep.
Okay, so here we go. Jen Erlach. Hey, great. I love that my 18-month-old twins eat almost independently using the mini mat. Excellent. You are going to get a free mat today. And so just... Oh
my God, she has twins.
I know, it's perfect.
So get her two free mats.
Send us an email and we will absolutely do that. And Wendy, do you want to come on and for an open seat really quick?
Yes.
We would love to see... So
you can drop off though. Yes. I mean, if you guys don't want to see, Wendy is like just our biggest fan. She comments and I feel like I know her.
Yes. So Wendy, if you want to, feel free. If not, we understand. But
does she know how to? Oh my! I don't know
basically, how to. Click the button for an open seat. Or Sarah, do you want to comment?
Yeah. Well, I can't see it now because I'm already on. But yeah, you should just be able to click the little box that is kind of gray, and
there it is.
Oh my God!
All right.
This is amazing. I want to like blab every second.
I know. That's what I'm saying. We were saying that we're going to do this once a month, but if it's this successful, we'll probably do it like every week. So super excited about that.
We like need to all see each other and like all be drinking wine together.
I know. I love that blab idea.
And then our kids can come and be like, "Get out of here, Mom's talking."
Okay,
Wendy,
so
where are you?
Where are you, Wendy? We don't see your camera.
I can kind of see. I can see her there, but it's like coming back, and it's not. It's just not her face.
I just see the circle. Like, is that what you guys see?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I'm not. It's going to be hard because I'm going to want to hug her across the screen.
Oh, this is so great. So while Wendy's trying to focus on that, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who came. And I'm getting all these other comments that, you know, that they're so happy that their kids are able to use the mat. And we're so grateful for that. So thank you so much for this.
And if you guys have any questions or anything, I mean, we really do check every email or every comment or post and message. So send us a note. You guys, you know, you can always get a hold of us. And Wendy, we might have to see you on the next chat.
Yeah.
Oh my God. God, do I have a mustache?
Oh, so great. Okay, everyone. Well, I think we're going to end it today.
I just love you guys. So hopefully come back and Dawn will be more feeding focused. But if there's questions on entrepreneurship, or we can, you know, do those as well. So thank you guys.
Absolutely.
We love you. We love you. Honestly.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarah, for coming on. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.